Alright, so today we're going to be making peanut butter chocolate sports nutrition bars. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take with our 8-inch pan with parchment paper, we're going to fill first 1/2 cups of gluten-free rolled oats. They can be a bit hard to get out of the pan. So. So 1. And 1/2. Those are oats mixed in there. Next you got your protein powder. Now it calls for unsweetened protein powder, but you can use whatever you want. But it says in the recipe that if you're going to use sweetened protein powder, such as the vanilla, then you have to cut back on the maple syrup and vanilla, which will be later explained in the recipe. So next you want to get the 1/2 cup of that. Just this. Oh, that comes with a little. Put that in there. And then last, you got your Rice Krispies cereal. You have 1/2 cup of that. And then you put that together, and then you mix that together with a wooden spoon or whatever you have in the kitchen. Go ahead, mix that together, get it nice and mixed in. So now we're going to add our teaspoon of vanilla to the mixture, along with our 1/2 cup of almond butter. Add that in. Now finally, since that's a little dirty, we'll just measure it out with this. Another 1/2 cup. And throw that in, and then mix all that together so that it becomes nice solid. The almond butter should attach it all together. Syrup should just add sweetening. If it's a bit dry, the recipe calls for a little bit of milk, which we could use right now. And then mix all that together until you start to get a nice mixture of everything evenly together. So I added a little less honey to make it not so sweet, since as I said before, the protein is made of vanilla, so that would just give it a bit too much of a sweet taste. So now it should be fine. So now we're gonna put this into the pre-parchment paper lined pan. Now to flatten this out, it says to use a pastry roller, but if you don't have a pastry roller, you can just take a glove and then oil it up so that nothing sticks, and then go ahead and flatten it out so that try and make it as even as you can throughout the pan. It's alright if it doesn't fit the whole pan because it's a smaller recipe, but try and spread out as much as you can so it's as even as possible for when it comes out of the fridge later. So now we're going to start with our chocolate mixture that will go on top of the said bars, which are in the freezer for 5-10 minutes, which we'll take out later. So now we're going to take half a tablespoon of canola oil. It calls for coconut oil, but we researched and canola oil can be substituted for coconut oil. So what we're going to do is over low heat we're going to pour in our canola oil, and then we have our 3 tablespoons of chocolate chips. Alright, so now that we got our 3 tablespoons of chocolate chips all measured out, and our canola oil is in there too. I'm just going to keep mixing them around until they're, I said, halfway melted. Just keep mixing around. Now they're really starting to melt. So in about a minute or so, about not too long, we're gonna take it off the heat and then mix in the rest. Yep. I'm gonna move it over here. Mixing the rest of the chocolate. Alright, so now we have our chocolate paste, and now we'll go take our breakfast bars out of the oven. Out of the fridge. So these are about done. So now we're going to take them over here. And over here. And now we're going to take our chocolate. Go ahead. Put it on. Spread it around. If you want to get fancy, you can put it in stripes or design, but I'd rather just have it on top and spread it around. Almost like a pizza. Just continue spreading that around. And then after we're done here, we're going to put this back in the freezer so that the chocolate can harden over the bars. And then after about another 5-10 minutes, we can take them out, and then they'll be ready to cut out. Alright, so there's our chocolate on there. Now we're going to put this back in the freezer. Alright, so now that our bars are done sitting with the chocolate inside the freezer, we're going to take them out. Don't those look lovely? Then, put down said bars and then you start cutting them up. Doesn't matter what way you cut them up. I'm just, for the time being, just going to cut them into columns and then go from there. It might break apart, it's fine. Just makes it easier for when you're cutting them and dividing them up. They're a bit thick, and you might want a better knife than this, maybe a chef's knife, but don't have much to work with here. Spin it the other way. And there you have it. There are energy bars.